Alright, guys. This is it's gonna be a long night for you guys watching on Twitch right now. We are doing multiple podcasts tonight. We are doing our normal show. We're gonna talk about the news and all the fun stuff that happened this week, and then we're also gonna do our Game of the Generation podcast. I'm finally gonna make that happen, and we're both Gables and I both representing our Pokemon 25 with our Pokemon
Oh
shirts.
yeah.
Oh yeah, all right. Squirtle Squad gotta represent there. Gables representing Pokemon with Pikachu on there. All
Hmm.
right. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good night. It's gonna be a good time. I got some White Claws. I haven't had a White Claw in a very long time.
Oh
That's
jeez.
probably a good reminder there. Turn my phone off. Turn the sound off, I should say, rather. That way.
That's a good idea. I think I'll do the same thing.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's funny. I got an alert from Twitch saying that our Twitch channel went live. That's what reminded me to
Yep.
turn the volume off. All right. All right. So I'm gonna do the intro of the show here, and I'm gonna put a gap in, and I'll start the actual show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 412 on DrunkNerds podcast. I'm your host. I am all thrown off right now. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler, and join me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Man, I'm feeling fucking great. That's pretty much the long story and short story of it all.
Yeah.
Work was fine. Was pretty busy. I delved into a bit of console resurrection, as it is, and the
Mm-hmm.
story behind that, just a short one. Donor came in, dropped off an Xbox 360 and a controller with some games. I took a look at it, tested it out. It worked, but it sounded like a jet engine. So, as part of a side project, I took apart the Xbox 360 and the controller, cleaned it out, reassembled it, and it worked like freaking new.
Nice. Very cool.
That is, man, it's just one of those little side projects where it's like they tell us to clean the products and stuff like that before selling them or whatsoever. I figured, you know what, someone's gonna get good solid $30 out of the darn thing. But other than taking apart consoles, I've just been doing fine, playing a little bit of games, the old rigmarole. But how have you been doing, Tyler?
Doing okay. It's a long week of work. Just craziness, busy. But a long day yesterday at the other job. But got a 3-day weekend this weekend, so that's nice. Got Monday and Sunday night right now, and I got Monday and Tuesday off, so that's pretty cool. And then I'm
Nice.
hanging out with Sir Justin. Tomorrow we're gonna play some frisbee golf, have some beers, and have a good time with that. We're gonna try to play frisbee golf. You never know. It's been good. It was really nice out all week, and then I'm like, oh sweet, 3-day weekend. It's been beautiful out. And then no, it's gonna be windy as fuck, no snow or no sun, and 35 degrees. So we'll see how that goes.
Same
Um,
here, man.
yeah,
Windy, windstorms, rain.
but it's been beautiful all week. I mean, beautiful because it was -20 last week, pretty much all week, and then it was like, it's fucking 49, 52 degrees outside. This is great. We'll see how it goes. If anything, we'll just sit on the park bench like we usually do and drink beers and bullshit. Do what we do. Then we'll throw like a frisbee just because like we've been here for 6 hours. Probably do throw a frisbee to say we did. It's usually what happens, honestly. Uh, yeah. So yep, I'm here. But if you guys are watching us, listening to us, or if you're listening to us like we have been for the last 7+ years, the last month or so, we have been streaming this live on Twitch, twitch.tv/DrunkNerds podcast. Give us a big follow there. Also, I always put the Twitch stream afterwards, immediately up afterwards on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/drunknerds, I believe is what that would be. Or just look up Drunk
Mm.
Nerds and you'll find us on there. And you can actually watch us on there, or usually the next day the audio version will come out if you just want to do it that way. But yeah, do that. Check us out in all those places: Twitter, Facebook, all those fun places. But we really appreciate it if you go out, give us a big thumbs up, share us on all those. That's what helps us more than anything. With those algorithms, give us a chance to get up there. I've been doing like some stupid Photoshop shit just to give us some like a actual thumbnail the last few weeks, and I'm just using like the Photoshop app that's like that on our Apple phones, and I think it's free, and there's very little stuff. I'm putting like very little time into. I'm usually making them on the toilet. Um, yeah, that's true. But I don't know. It's just a fun dumb thing that um I'm doing. I don't know. I bet it's like I'm not trying to like. and I don't know how to do that shit. And literally just make it's usually our face and then the background of something we talked about in the show. So last week was me staring up at Haven. The week before that, I think, was Gables with the bad guy from Skyward Sword with his tongue sticking out right in Gable's face.
Yeah. That was a little bit more provocative than I wanted it to be. I
The-
wake up one morning, I check out my subscription things, and all of a sudden I see my face plastered next to Girahim. I'm like, what
yeah,
the fuck?
it's funny. The fun part is I never tell Gables what I'm doing. I just do it. So
This is
it's
true.
yeah. I don't ask for permission. It's easier to ask for forgiveness and permission, you know. Uh, yeah. So
Tyler 2021. It's better to ask for forgiveness than to actually ask.
yeah, better ask for forgiveness than permission. That's just the way to do it. Uh, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to do every week. I'll usually it's always gonna be something dumb and stupid. It's usually gonna be one of our faces. It's some stupid doing something stupid. So yeah. But Gables, I gotta ask. Did you watch the Pokemon concert yesterday?
No, I
Oh
did
boy,
not watch anything with Post Malone, dude. I
it's
just stuck with the direct.
it's very weird. It's very weird. Because it's like I actually like Post Malone, and it's like I like his hits. Like I when it goes on the radio, I don't turn it off. And every now and again when I'm listening, I'm streaming music, I put on a little Post Malone. You know, I'm not afraid to say it. I dig his stuff. Um, but it's so weird because it's like, I mean, they have like they're not like his songs aren't like horribly like, you know, like there's not like a bunch of cuss words, or it's not really like there's not a lot of, you know, sexual stuff that's very like very in your face like you hear on some, you know, rap songs or
So
whatever.
not heavy adult themes is what you're getting at.
Yeah, I mean they're adult themes, but it's not like, you know, like you could play on the radio. It's not, or, you know, there's not some whatever. They're not dropping, you know, pussy and killing people and all that. You know, not like it's not Yeezus, the Kanye West album. Where literally none of the songs were able to play on the radio. Um, but anyways, I don't know why I'm talking like a mom that's like, oh, they call something. But anyways, but it's just so weird because like he like plays his hits on this. It's like animated Post Malone, almost like in the anime,
Uh-huh.
like just doing a concert, and he's like floating around with other Pokemon and all that. Pikachu's there, Charizard's there. There's a bunch of them there, and like it's like so heavily edited, like the songs he does, and like he's singing like okay, that was the F word there. Okay, there's ass. Okay, shit. Okay, and it's like he has one song where it's like, I can't remember how it goes, but it's like you thought it was love, but it was just a sex though, and it's like it's a good song. I can't remember the name of the song, but it's like they like it's so funny because like I was watching it earlier today, and I'm like, to hear someone say sex in Pokemon, uh, it's just totally thrown my whole world into a whirlwind. it's like it's like I don't know how I feel about this.
Just imagine a kid just watching the freaking viral video, and all of a sudden you just have Post Malone like with Pokemon dancing and shit, like just him talking about sex.
Yeah, it's so, and like one song's about, you know, like not the song is about it, but it's like there's a lyric in the song about getting out of the friend zone and stuff like that. And it's like it's like his songs like they're poppy, you know, whatever. They're made to be on the radio, but like they're
Yeah.
it's just like it's so like weird. And he does the I actually gotta admit, it kind of slaps. He did the Hootie and the Blowfish cover. I only
Oh.
want to be with you. But he should have said I only want a Pikachu. That he royally missed an opportunity there.
Yeah, no doubt, right? You got one chance
Yeah.
with his 25th anniversary, man. You might as well just do Pokemon theme everything for your
Yeah.
songs.
It's like somebody like I saw a comment on the YouTube thing. It's like uh it's like expectations Pokemon rap. Reality it was just a sex though. Oh, I fucking lost it when I read that one. I'm like,
He's not wrong.
you win the internet today. You win the internet today, sir. It's like, because that's what people were mentioning. Like, oh, it'd be awesome if he did the Pokemon rap. I'm like, he's not gonna do the fucking Pokemon. It'd be awesome if he did it, but it's like he doesn't fucking. He doesn't know the goddamn. I highly doubt he knows Pokemon. And then they announced they're doing like a Pokemon. There's gonna be a Pokemon soundtrack coming out later this fall. Like Katy Perry's involved. Post
Oh,
Malone's involved. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be like just like the Hootie and the Blowfish cover or whatever. It's a very weird cover to pick. I don't know if he already did the cover. Like the cover came out, that song came out with the Pokemon concert and stuff. But I don't know if he already like was doing the cover, and he's like, oh, we'll just debut a Pokemon. Fuck it, it'll give us more coverage. So I wonder if that's. I bet that's what it was, and I'm just wondering, like, is it going to be Pokemon theme related, or are they just going to get people and they're going to release their Pokemon, or are they going to release their covers with alongside Pokemon? I don't know. I don't. It's very weird. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know how I feel about it, but it's a weird thing. But Gables, I want to keep talking about Pokemon, and I want to
Yeah.
talk about we had a Pokemon. Was it a It wasn't a direct. It was like a
It was
presentation.
a presentation.
Yes.
He didn't
Uh,
specifically say direct, but it was pretty much a direct.
Yeah. So it was about 20 minutes long. Started off the really cool, like, not a, I want to say monologue, but that's not what I wanted. That's not
It
what
was
it
like
is.
a retrospective more
Yeah,
so.
but it covered like everybody's like, oh, it covered everything. It like covered the anime, all these weird games. Did not cover the Pokemon uh, game, the best Pokemon game on the Game Boy, Pokemon trading card game.
That's actually true, and
Glossed
it
right
did
over.
not cover
I noticed that
the
immediately.
Pokemon
I'm like,
trading
oh
card
fuck
game
yeah,
on
they're gonna
Game Boy.
acknowledge that game is so good. I beat it
They
on
acknowledged the
3DS.
trading card and stuff, but not the trading card game that
Mm-hmm.
they had before Gen 2.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
like,
weird. Very weird.
yeah,
But yeah, it was really cool how they went over it. It was like about it was like 20 minutes. The whole presentation was. Then got some gameplay of new Pokemon Snap coming out. We already has a date, April 30th. But sure, you can do like some editing. You can actually like editing has like some different tools you can do with those. You can actually upload them onto like their like assuming there's actually gonna be some online use with it, and people you can like put it up on the Pokemon, not the website, but basically in the new Pokemon Snap game, you can go on, look at other people's pictures, and you can like them essentially like that. Um, and then it showed different like things, like there's like stuff you can use to make Pokemon glow, and then like the fire will turn blue and stuff like that. And you can do different things, change the effects of the Pokemon. Then we got you actually Gable. Sometimes you're pie in the sky kind of guy. You go for the fences every time you're at bat. You don't like I'm not
pretty
fucking bunt.
much.
I'm not bunting. I don't want that goddamn double. I'm going for the home run. And sometimes
I'm gonna go reckless.
sometimes it's a fly ball. Sometimes it's a sacrifice fly. I don't know why I went to baseball terms here, but it's the first thing that
But
popped in
other
my head.
times it's a grand slam.
Yeah, and you hit a goddamn grand slam when you said there was gonna be you thought we were gonna get that Gen 4 remake, and we got it. We got Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Not a big fan of the name. The name. It's better than the Omega Ruby Sapphire thing, but I don't love it. But
It's fine. It's
yeah,
okay.
it's not. Yeah, it's fine. It's not the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So, anyways, it's the DS remakes from 2006. And this one is not made by this is not made by Game Freak, who normally
No.
makes Pokemon games. It is made by ICEA, I believe is how it is. Um, they are
Okay.
the ones that developed Pokemon Home, and they actually. Oh, I'm just reading
Yeah.
this right now for the first time. They actually helped support. They help make Nier Automata and Yakuza Zero.
That I
Um,
didn't know.
oh, you did know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. I didn't. I'm just reading that right now. I don't. Who knows how much they have to do with it? But however, the original Diamond and Pearl director, fucking Christ,
Junichi Masuda.
yeah, that. Thank you. We'll be directing these games alongside. I see that. I don't know how you say it. So that was revealed, but it's not like a full like when there was that rumor going on. Like there's been talks like is it gonna be the Let's Go Gold and Silver or is it gonna be the Gen 4 remakes? And then, like I think a lot of people were expecting to be more in the vein of like what we saw from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee a couple years ago, and then we had from 2 years ago we had Sword and Shield. I think people were
Right.
expecting to be more in the engine. It looks more like to me like the 3DS remakes we had, like when Pokemon X and Y and like a Ruby and Sapphire remakes came out. Like it looks more like that on the Switch. Like it's better looking, but it has that same style as um, it's closer I think to an HD remake or remaster than a full blown remake. It's like this is
Right.
what I saw. But what you're obviously the Pokemon guy here. What was your thoughts when you saw these?
Well, let's see. When I initially saw these, I got very excited because Diamond and Pearl remakes, I've wanted like remakes of Diamond and Pearl for a long while now. They've been in the rumor mills, obviously, for the past couple of years. Even heading in, I did know little bits of tidbits here and there in terms of like obviously rumor stuff from potential things that there could be some Let's Go elements inside there, whether there could be some like other types of changes and stuff. But From looking at the art style of it, it's definitely sort of like a chibi sort of cross between the traditionalist Diamond and Pearl. So it sources the original game fairly well. It's definitely kept the tone in the terms of like how the original releases were back around 2007. So you have that sort of isometric sort of view, kind of like what the classic Pokemon games had. But in terms of that, you have sort of like an HD kind of refresh with like a high definition character art. Things are a little bit more fleshed out in terms of certain character designs. Sure, they're a little bit like they're a little smaller in nature when it comes to the overworld. There's been a little bit of a mishmash between whether people like it or not, but at the same time, I look at it as like it's faithful to its original source material, the original Diamond and Pearl releases. The look of it, I honestly am okay with. I personally don't have anything like against the artwork in and of itself. From the looks of the initial characters from in battle and stuff, looks fine. And I was left fairly impressed with it. That made me very excited. But let me tell you something. It's like the announcement after that took me completely by surprise because up until that point, even with the rumors, we've heard Diamond and Pearl remakes for at least the past year or two, but there was never a mention of like a completely new Pokemon game that was going to be, mentioned or anything of that sort. So when after the Brilliant Diamond and like Shining Pearl announcement, the next announcement after that was something else entirely, in my honest opinion, because
Yeah.
we got the reveal of Pokemon Legends Arceus,
Yep.
which it's essentially, from what it looks like, a Breath of the Wild overworld theme with Pokemon. So the whole setting of it is like it's in the Sinnoh region, and this is like ancient times inside the Sinnoh region. So your main objective is to fill out the first Pokedex for that region. And so you take your character, either a boy or a girl, based upon the ancestors of like the protagonists from Diamond and Pearl. You go out in the field, and from what it looks like, you can seamlessly not only terrain around the field, you can do like little dodge rolls and stuff, but you can actually throw Pokeballs like in real time without having to go to separate menus or doing type of turn-based sort of things or
Yep.
do random battle like how it was traditionally. They advertise it as like a new era sort of thing of Pokemon, so it's less of a turn-based RPG mechanics frenzy and more so of an action RPG with a lot of exploration elements of it. From what I've heard little bits of, there are certain transitions, like say when you face Pokemon inside of the game in and of itself, it actually is a seamless thing where if you like have your Pokemon out and stuff, you're battling another Pokemon and stuff, it's basically all in the same type of frame. It's no like flashing and like a different animation and this and that. But I was fairly excited when this trailer was announced because it was something completely new, completely different. That honestly very much was a fun surprise. It was a fun
Yeah.
surprise because no one saw this coming. And then we learned that it's like it wasn't, the Diamond and Pearl remakes weren't even like being made by Game Freak. It was the company, the
Yeah.
company from
I
Pokemon
Ilcia.
Ilcia or some of that
I
sort.
think Ilcia.
But Game Freak was the ones that were actually working on the Pokemon Legends Arceus. But in terms of the graphical stuff, there were parts of it that looked fine. There were other parts of it that looked kind of like kind of chugging at certain frame rate issues. So it's definitely an early in development game. The biggest surprise in that regard is like when you have Brilliant Diamond and like Shining Pearl at the end of this year. Early next year is supposed to be the release of Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Yeah.
I feel that this game definitely, possibly, no, I think it's definitely going to get delayed, possibly until like the
Yeah.
end of the year of 2022,
Yeah.
because by the looks of it, it definitely has a lot of promise, definitely has a lot of fun things, but the focus on this type of game, especially if it's like an open world sort of elements and stuff, I want this game to look good. I want it to play good, and the potential of going out of a town, doing like various story missions, right? But freely exploring and capturing Pokemon at your leisure and doing that sounds very fucking appealing to me.
Yeah.
But
Um.
yeah, go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, I agree. It's very weird because that, like, that Arceus, right?
Yes.
Okay. Um. When I was watching, I'm like, okay, this looks like this is like a couple years away, like maybe end of 2022. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Right.
Was like, okay, especially with if you're releasing Diamond and Pearl, the remakes at the end of this year. I'm like, all right, they're not gonna want to put them out that close to each other. Um, they're gonna separate them out because we've never had mainline Pokemon games uh, this come out this close to each other. We're talking months. At most what 6 months maybe. If
Hmm.
they're saying late 2021 for Diamond and Pearl, which you gotta assume it's a November game. I mean, I think
Yes.
it's always November pretty much for Pokemon, mainline Pokemon, and Arceus. I mean, Nintendo stretches like they'll say coming spring of this year or spring next year, and it comes out in June or like the last week of June. It's like they stretch or they always say like I remember there was like that like there was supposed to be something Pokemon like it was like a Pokemon Home thing. It's coming in March. It's like oh, okay. And it was like March 22nd. This is a few years ago, and I
Right.
was like it's like okay they said March is coming. It's March like 22nd. Where the hell is it at? March 31st. It's releasing. It's like, oh okay. Uh, so yeah, okay, no, Gable's walking away. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm the same way where it looks like it's very early, but I'm wondering like maybe this is just earlier in development stuff, and we'll see more like a lot of people are assuming that there's going to be some sort of uh, E3S style thing, whether it's an actual E3 thing or not. There's going to be something. There's going to be a PlayStation thing. There's going to be an Xbox thing. We're going to have some sort of at least sometime in June or that time frame, we're gonna have something from these game developers, these console makers, in that time frame. So maybe we'll see more from it then. Maybe we'll see more from it, or maybe they want to just keep pushing for the Diamond and Pearl stuff and not get it buried. But maybe we'll just see more from it later. At the end of the year or something. But yeah, it's like I don't know. It's yeah. I mean, it's crazy because this is like the game that growing up, this as a kid, this is the game I dreamed of when this was revealed. I was like, oh my god, this is like 7-year-old me would be freaking out right now seeing this. Like just how I mean, I remember even like just 7 years ago when we saw Pokemon X and Y, I was just like, oh my god, this. I mean, it's not like it wasn't like the biggest change in the world, but like just seeing like Pokemon X and Y, Gable's back now. So, but but I was just talking about how like this Arceus is like the game as a 7-year-old me would be freaking out about, and it's just like
Right.
I remember just at 24, 23 years old when we saw Pokemon X and Y for the first time.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh my god, this looks great. And it's just like, and it's not even like it wasn't even like this drastic of a. I mean, it was a drastic change for them, but it's not like, oh my god, it's open world. It's just a better looking game that we've been playing for 15 years at that point. And then you look in like Sword and Shield, it's like, oh my god, like it runs terribly, but it looks so good,
Right. Right.
especially in that open world area. Yeah, like you were talking about, like this looks very early in development. I was just saying, like, um, I'm wondering if this is just like this isn't the newest uh, gameplay we have from it, and it seemed like we got a very limited cut. And we did see there is turn-based combat. We did see like a little bit of that, where like there's you see like you always do. There's the four moves, and you take turns battling. So we know there's gonna be um, some of that, which is fine. I'd rather it be that, and I don't know what would be Pokken tournament or Pocket tournament, what the fuck it's called. But I don't know. I mean, it definitely didn't look like I said, it looked early, and I hope to God that's what it is. It's early, and this isn't the game. But yeah, I'm curious how this is gonna run in there because Breath of the
Right.
Wild when that game came out. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Breath of the Wild, and it's one of the greatest games of all time, and it's the eighth best game of 2017 easily. Um, but I mean, that game had trudge sometimes on the Switch, and it's like playing like the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity last November. It's like that game never hit 30 frames per second. So it's like I'm curious how this is gonna do I mean, and like that gets me thinking, like, is this the Switch Pro? This opens up a whole nother can of worms to me. Like, I'm thinking of a lot of other things. Like immediately as soon as it's over, I'm like, okay, is like Switch Pro? Is this gonna be a Switch Pro launch game? Because we're all talking about Breath of the Wild 2. But I'm like, okay, well, there's a Pokemon game coming out this year. Are they really gonna want to put out Zelda and Pokemon, a new Pokemon remake? You know, I know it's not the main team, but it's a Pokemon game. It's gonna
Right.
sell. And I know it's not Pokemon Sword and Shield engine, but it's a Pokemon game and it's a remake of a Pokemon game. Like, it's gonna sell very very well. Are they gonna want to put, if it comes, say Zelda comes out this fall, are they still gonna want, are they gonna want to put a Pokemon and a Zelda in that same time frame, and then a brand new, the Pokemon game we've all wanted for 25 years next, early next year, or is Zelda, Breath of the Wild 2 a late 2022 game? Like, what? I don't know. It's just like a lot of different things started going in my mind where I'm like, oh man, like this is either gonna be a fucking crazy ass fall where we could see a lot of shit, like a lot of cool things drop, or um, maybe some stuff is farther out than we think. And like, yeah, like I said, like I wouldn't be surprised if Arceus gets delayed. I don't know, I don't know. It's just, it's very early. We didn't see a lot. But yeah, I'm definitely, I want to check this out. Like, it's so cool to like kind of see like the Pokemon balls they had, the Pokeballs they had with this and all that. And like it looked really cool. I like it was actually um, like it was actually like carved out of like wood and everything like that,
Yep.
which is really cool. But go jump back here to the Diamond Pearl and uh, Diamond and Pearl remakes. Like Diamond and Pearl, it was kind of interesting reading like kind of the reactions of Twitter. You know, it's like I'm not talking like the negative. Like I didn't go and search Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes and like Twitter and like to see like everybody, just kind of read the timeline though, because I follow a lot of like influencers, journalists, stuff like, and just personal friends, stuff like that, and like just kind of getting their overall look feel of it. And so it's very interesting like to kind of see like uh it definitely like all over the place. Where like no one's like, it wasn't like negative or anything, but a lot of people like people were saying like this is when they felt like this is the game where they fell off. Like, okay, like we're kind of tired of that formula. Black and white is where the formula, like they changed it up and like brought people like, that was very interesting. Way I always remember, even like you and Jake early on in the podcast talking about black and white 1 and 2 were like totally game changing for him. And it's like,
Yeah.
so it's, and I'm the same way. Like I've talked about before. Like I bought I think it was Diamond on DS when it came out. Like I was way out of Pokemon by then. Like I didn't watch the cartoon. I didn't really pay much attention to it. But I still played the games. Like definitely. I mean, especially Gen 1 and 2. I don't remember playing much of. Gen 3 was Ruby and Sapphire, correct?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So I don't remember playing much of it. But I remember like jumping in the Diamond and I was like just excited. Like, oh my god, we have a DS Pokemon game. Like I just fell off of it very quickly. And I mean, I didn't jump back in until X and Y. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to jump back into it and just kind of see, play. I'm definitely, it's gonna be a game I'm gonna for sure pick up and play. But I'm not like going crazy. But I'm definitely not like that fan base. You know, I've talked about. Like, people like that listen to the show long enough know me. It's like I'm in it for the nostalgia factor. Like, let's go Pikachu. I love, even though I hated using the fucking Pokeball. I mean, I love using Pokeball more than the Joy-Con, but like, I love like that just because it brought me back to my childhood. Like I was a guy rooting for the Heart Gold Soul Silver remake, whatever. Let's go, like that was me. I was that guy. But I mean, I'm not like I think that game's for sure coming. Uh, I think it just has to come. Because I mean, I know those games sold very well, not as well as Sword and Shield, but very well. Um, yeah. So I don't know. I'm not. I'm just in the middle. I'm very much in the middle. Like, well, I'm gonna buy it for sure. I'm definitely more excited to play Diamond and Pearl than I am Skyward Sword. I'll say that much. And that's another point.
Right.
Fuck, just think about that. Jesus Christ, we could have.
That is a good point because from what we saw from the reveals of the Diamond and Pearl remake and even Pokemon Legends, those games look better than Let's Go and Sword and Shield in terms of the graphical fidelity stuff, especially when it comes to the Diamond and Pearl stuff. I mean, there are a couple of questions I do have in regards to the Diamond and Pearl remake stuff. With the original games that were released on the DS, they were more slow paced, and in terms that did affect a lot of the pacing stuff, or like not only the story elements, but there are certain parts of the game where it was a little bit more difficult in regards to, say, finding specific types of Pokemon that you wanted to go through and beat the game with in some retrospects. And what I'm referring to is back in Diamond and Pearl, you couldn't really find fire type Pokemon out in the wild unless you actually started with Chimchar. that's one of the personal things that I experienced firsthand. That I picked Turtwig, the grass starter, and I hardly didn't have any type of fire Pokemon options. And throughout my entire playthrough of that game, I basically did not I did not really have a single type of fire starter, and the only one you could have had as an available alternative potentially would have been Ponyta, and I did not want to raise Ponyta and do all this other different types of stuff. But my question in regards to it is like, are they going to element? Are they going to implement the elements from Pokemon Platinum, which actually takes things to another interesting level? Because in Pokemon Platinum, the story was better paced. There was additional content, kind of like how with the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire when they had the Delta episode and stuff at the end of that. This is sort of similar to that from that DLC kind of is inspired a little bit in terms of the whole Pokemon Platinum aspect, to where Giratina, that legendary Pokemon, the whole subspace sort of thing you were going, not subspace, but this sort of like dimension things that you could go through in that story that played heavily in parts of the initial plot with the evil team, Team Galactic, and stuff, and their head person Cyrus. But there were better options in terms of what you could create with your party. With that, there were actually a little bit more fire Pokemon inside of this version that you could use. So it's like I was referring to. Will it have the elements of that Platinum game? Because if you have both of these remasters with that, it makes the games much better, in my honest opinion, than say the originals.
Yeah.
My second question that I'm thinking about when I'm looking at these games, are they going to limit it to that generation of Pokemon available in that game? For example, it's like obviously for these remakes and stuff, if you have options to all the single Pokemon or even like the newest ones inside this game and stuff, it's going to potentially break some aspects. I mean, the customizational stuff with teams is great and all, but I'm a traditionalist when it comes to Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. For the nostalgia factor, I rather would be locked to the 400 and some odd Pokemon that were available in that generation. So it's like I'd much rather have the newest ones being Gen 4. So I'd have availability, say, with Togekiss, with friggin' Magmortar, Electivire, and stuff. And even like Tangrowth, the whole classic Pokemon that actually had evolutions at that time period. But yeah, there's just more thoughts that just circulate, just thinking about the whole elements of that. But but the other aspect and stuff with like the whole Pokemon Legends, obviously early 2022 can mean anything from say January all the way up to June. I mean,
Yeah.
hell, that's early.
I was
If
thinking
anything,
by 4 May is what I was thinking.
I personally do not believe this game is going to be an early 2022 game. I feel like it's going to be towards the end, if not the early things for 2023.
Unless it's like
Because
I was thinking. Oh, sorry to cut you off there. I was thinking
yeah,
like this is Pokemon Legends, so this is like
mm-hmm.
a different category, like a mystery dungeon kind of thing, or like it could be its own different thing here we're talking about.
Right,
Like
and
I was thinking maybe this could be like just a small that maybe this isn't a full fledged game. Like this doesn't seem like there's gonna be like this could be like the beginning of like gym leaders. There's no Pokemarts. There's no like Pokemon shops or whatever. Like
it
like
could be
this could
something
be
as simple, Tyler, possibly like collecting, crafting stuff in order to create your own Pokeballs.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just like this isn't this isn't Gen 9. This isn't the next mainline thing. This
No,
is its own separate thing that they're working on. I think this is like almost kind of like Pokemon Let's Go was kind of like that half step to Sword and Shield, where like it was like it's well like Sword and Shield is the future. It's well in development, but this is like them like kind of building that foundation and like giving a test run almost. And I wouldn't be surprised this is just like a $60 test run for what Gen 9 could be. And I'm all aboard checking out. I would definitely want to see more from it. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, when we see more from this, if, like, that's what it turns out to be. It's like, this isn't some 30, 40-hour venture, 50-hour venture, whatever it's going to be. This is just, this is like a self-contained, who knows if there's a story or what it is to it, but who knows? But I wouldn't be shocked if this isn't like a full-fledged game.
dude, I
Um,
guarantee you, if this is a smashing success, this is what Gen 9 could
oh yeah, I
potentially
think
be.
this is what Gen 9 is in general. I wouldn't be surprised 2023, where we're getting Gen 9 and it's basically this engine.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked because I mean, think about it. Like we haven't had a 2019 was Sword and Shield. That was the last time
Mhm.
we've had a Game Freak game come out, and that we're talking what 2.5 years here, assuming it comes out early next year. Then um, that's probably the longest gap we've gone without a Game Freak game.
That's very true because they've been hitting it like every single year
Yeah,
since the release of Black and
yeah.
White
At the very
because it
least, we're
wasn't.
getting. I'm sorry
Yeah.
to cut you off again, but we're getting that. We're getting the platinum, like you said, or like the crystal or the yellow. At the very least that in between year, we're just getting the like the better version of last gen, of that gen.
Hmm.
So I mean, yeah, you're saying, we're every year we're getting something, or like this generation of Switch, we're getting Pokemon the Let's Go game, and then we're getting Sword of Shield. Then last year, what we got DLC from it for Sword and Shield, and like we had no actual game. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's we're in really with the Switch has just been uncharted waters in general. I think with Nintendo, where like they're just you can with the Wii U, like I remember like you can always like, all right, there's gonna be a Memorial Day game. There's gonna be a game that comes out in September. There's usually gonna be a game, or I mean a game that comes out in November. The big game comes out in November. Like there's gonna be that big game that comes. There's gonna be another big game that comes out in August, September, and then that's it. Or maybe you get
Yeah.
lucky and like a big year we'll get some B games in between there to fill some gaps. But in this it's just been uncharted territories where like we're getting shit. We're getting shit when shit comes out. Like
Yep.
there's games that have been ready for years, and we're like Pikmin 3 been ready for over a year. And it's like we're just waiting for a dead spot. Boom, October
Same thing with the
31st.
Metroid Prime trilogy, man. It's
Yeah,
like we've been waiting for that one to be
that game's
announced.
probably been done for a while. They're just like we want to wait. So it's like, and here we are. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I'm really excited for it. I am. I'm excited. I want to be a hardcore Pokemon fan, but it's just like it's more that nostalgia that keeps me in it than anything. It's like, but I did really enjoy Sword and Shield a lot. I mean, when I beat Shield, um, beginning of last year, like I played it. Remember playing it, and I'm like, I'm not feeling this. I'm like, I fell off of it like I did all the other ones except for Let's Go and X and Y, but then it's like I went back to it like a month later, and I just got hooked again. So yeah, I'm all excited for it.
Yep.
But Gable's move. This that was pretty much the non PlayStation news of the podcast, because it's been a PlayStation heavy week.
Yes,
Um,
it has.
so the day before we had the Pokemon presentation, we had a PlayStation State of Play. It's about 30 minutes. They going into, they did say they're going to talk about 10 games, mostly going over. There's going to be a couple new announcements. They said mostly going over the games that they announced last year during the PlayStation PS5 events. Um, run through it real fast. We had a Deathloop trailer, so it's kind of like I think this is the last big push they're gonna have for it before that game comes out May 21st. So it's supposed to be a launch game, but got delayed to May 21st. But it's coming. I don't. Yeah, it's coming. It's only coming to PC and PS5. But that's coming out May 21st. It's a Bethesda game. It's Arcane Studios. People that made Dishonored 1 and 2, and fuck, it starts with a P. The weird alien game. Fuck, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Does it start with the P?
Wait, the weird alien game like from Bethesda, Prey.
Yeah, Prey. Yes, yes. Um, there's aliens in it. I didn't care for it, but it seemed like that game either people loved it or they just didn't like it at all. But then so we got a big push for that. We got more another trailer from that one, more gameplay, some more story stuff from it. Next up, we had Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach was revealed. I don't believe it was. Was it revealed? Because I thought I already knew about this game. Anyways, it says revealed here in this article. Um, it is. It's more Five Nights at Freddy. If you're into that, you're into that. Um, Hyperlight Drifter, developer Heart Machines, Solar Ash, was given a time frame of 2021. Finally, we did see some gameplay of it. It looks more like kind of like a it's not like a pathless kind of like you're falling. I see a lot of people say like it's Sonic Adventures 2 with Shadow of the Colossus elements where you're like at one point you're climbing um, this one of there's one fight in the Shadow of the Colossus where you're climbing an enemy that's flying, and you gotta like
Oh
go
yeah.
up them, and like there was a snake that was flying through the air, and you're like kind of type creature that's flying, and you gotta climb up them, and it's like you're almost like on rollerblades. Um, Then so that's coming out 2021. The one big announcement, it was the second thing shown on there. Solar Ash is coming to PS4 and PS5 only. I think it didn't say anything about PC. Sifu was announced as the Absolver developer. Slow clap. Sifu is supposed to come out sometime this year. That's that like. I'm assuming it's like a oh, I just lost the fucking phrase. The one where you die and you come back, roguelike.
Yep.
Thank you, Tyler, for answering your own question. Every now and again, I do that. I'm my own worst enemy and helper. Anyways, so you're fighting in this hallway, and every time you die, you come back. You revive, but you're slightly older, and you have more skill, so you get better as you go. Then we had another. We saw Knockout City again, which is that dodgeball game. Which last week I do want to correct myself. You said it was the EA Originals game, and I said it wasn't. I was wrong. You're right. It is the EA Originals game. But it's a multiplayer dodgeball game. It was a fucking terrible trailer last week. We did like that weird GameFly stuff where they're interviewing like video game characters and then like they're playing the game. This one was just a trailer of the game. It's coming out May 21st to PS4 and PS5. I think it's coming to everything though. It's coming to Switch, PC, everything. It's gonna be it's only $20. Look at that. I'm shocked by that. I don't know, I think there's a beta. I don't know. I think it's PC only though. Yeah, the gameplay, I don't know, maybe it was just like that trailer was so shitty that by the time we got to the actual game itself, I was like, I'm turned off by it because it did nothing for me. And then I saw it in here, I'm like, okay, this doesn't look bad, but it's like definitely one of those things where it's like, that's gonna be a game that you need to play with friends, kind of thing. It's gonna live and die by your friends. The actual state of play started off with Crash 4 Bandicoot. We had some gameplay trailer of the PS5 version that's coming out. It's a free upgrade. It's gonna be 4K, 60 frames per second. It's gonna be DualSense Dr. Trevor, 3D audio support, save transfers, faster loading times. I guess I didn't know this, but the people were saying they're really happy about the faster loading times. I guess the load times in that game is terrible on last generation consoles. But that's coming March 12th. Oddworld Soulstorm was shown up for the 832nd time in the last 6 months. It's coming to PS5 and PS4 on April 6th, but it's actually going to be the PS5 version will be the April PlayStation Plus game. So that's pretty cool. We got this must really be the last big push for Returnal. This was come out, I believe, in March, but got pushed to April 30th. Got more gameplay from that. Kena Bridge of Spirits is got a release date of August 24th. It's coming to PS4 and PS5. That's that really beautiful art style game with like you're fighting like trees and shit. Final Fantasy VII. They announced this is like the big like the one more thing they did. The PS5. We got to see PS5 version of that. It's coming June 10th. It'll be a free upgrade for everybody. Also, they announced Final Fantasy VII Remake Intrograde that'll be coming to PS5 only on June 10th. It's a episode with Yuffie, who's a character that you meet, I guess, later in Final Fantasy VII. And they let people think this must be the introduction for her and some of the other characters. Some of the characters that were actually in the trailer for Introgate are characters that aren't actually in Final Fantasy VII, but they're in like the Final Fantasy VII like the Dawns of Cerberus, whatever the hell it was called.
Dirge of Cerberus.
Yeah, that one.
The PS2 game that nobody liked.
Yeah, that was a weird third-person shooter like DM's Devil May Cry ripoff, wasn't it?
With Vincent and stuff, one of the characters that you will eventually see inside of the series.
Yeah. So there was I was listening to a podcast and people were going nuts on the like what this means for Final Fantasy VII. I'm like, guys, I've only played Remake. That's all I know about it. You guys are confused as fuck, and you sound like super nerds of Final Fantasy VII, which no disrespect to that. I'm super nerd of a lot of games too. And it's like you guys are confused as fuck. You're confusing me the fuck out of me. I don't care. I'm all in. I don't care. I just want more of it. We're getting more of it. I'm happy with it. Whatever. I'll pay whatever the fuck you want me to pay. If I gotta sacrifice a small child to play this, that's what I'll do. I'll find one and I'll sacrifice them. This is the things I do for Final Fantasy VII Remake, Gables.
Yes, understandable.
You see, yeah, everybody gets it. So yeah, it was only like 30 minutes. I will say this: did it have the punch of the direct from last week? No, but I was never bored like I was during the direct last week. My thing with I see a lot of people disappointed with the state of play, and my thing coming out. And this is something I talked about end of last year when they did the first PS5 event and the second PS5 event, and I'm like, why isn't this? I was saying on the podcast, I'm like, why isn't this the state of play? They're not calling it state of play. And someone at that point like said something like on Twitter I saw where it's like PlayStation, like when they announced state of plays as the thing, they said this is not like this isn't like their E3 stuff. This is like smaller games. We're filling in gaps. We're not going to announce the big thing. We're not going to announce God of War 2 in these things. We're not going to announce, that's safe for like E3 style stuff. This is just going to be like we're filling in gaps. We're giving you more news on stuff that's already been announced. We're going to give you release dates. There's never gonna, the biggest news we've ever gotten out of the state of plays ever has been Resident Evil 3 the remake we got last year, and then the rest of it's been like we've had like a deep dive on Last of Us Part 2 last year, where it's like here's a 20-minute thing of gameplay. Then we had like the big deep dive on Ghost of Tsushima last year as well. Like that's the most stuff we've ever gotten out of them. So I wasn't like going into it, and a lot of people were like, I want a God of War 2. And it's kind of like I felt the same way with last week when I'm like people were talking about Breath of the Wild 2. It's like I hope it's there, but I don't expect it to be there. But if it's there, it's awesome. That's kind of where I was going with this one. Like I definitely don't think it's going to be there, but there's like that little bit of like fan hope in there where you sit there and think about it long enough, you start to convince yourself it's going to be there kind of thing. Like, okay, well, maybe we'll get Horizon 2. Maybe we'll get God of War. Maybe they're going to change it up. Maybe we're going to make it big time. And they didn't do it. Obviously, I'd like to have it, but they didn't have it. I thought it was fine, though, where it's like Sifu looks awesome, I think. I don't know if it's even a game I'm overall going to like, but I think it looks incredible, and I want to see more from it. Kind of see overall how it works, especially with like every time you die, you come back a little older. Like how the fuck am I gonna be 87 with a cane, fucking walking down this hallway trying to kill guys, and my bones are so brittle they're gonna kick me once and I'm gonna turn to ash. Deathloop, I could go the rest of my life without seeing ever again at this point. Same with Oddworld. Like I was it's funny. The first time we saw Oddworld, which was my first time seeing Oddworld, I guess it's been like at every PAX for like the last 3 years, every E3 for the last 3 or 4 years, and it's like a lot of people are saying like I'm so fucking tired of seeing this game. I played the demo 4 years ago. I don't care. And it's like I'm just like when the first time I saw it, I'm like, oh, this looks actually like I've never given a fuck about Oddworld before, and I'm like, okay, this looks pretty good. I like this. And now this is the 4th time we've seen it since like last July, and I'm like, I don't care. Just I went from like I'm actually like I want to play this game to like I'm at the point where I was watching this. I'm like I don't even want to play this game anymore. And then like, oh, it's gonna be PS Plus. Okay, I'll fucking check it out. That's fine. But I went from like I want to play this game. I'll buy it for $30 to like went from like just get it off my fucking screen. I don't care to like no, oh, it's free. All right, I'll check it out. But I think the weak part was like starting off with Crash Bandicoot 4, where it's like my I talked about last week where it's like I was like I don't need to see fucking 3-4 minutes of fucking Plants vs Zombie multiplayer game. That was my big complaint. Whereas it's 50 minutes and it was like port. Mario Golf. Port. Phil Jackson's triangle offense, and then port. Skyward. Fuck you! It's not Breath of the Wild 2. I knew that's what you're expecting, but you're not getting it. You're getting Skyward Sword. Port. Splatoon 3. It's a year and a half away. That was my issue with it. This one I was just like, okay, fuck, this sucks. Like, there's definitely some down parts, but I was like, it was short enough and condensed enough where I never really got bored. Like I was like irritated at times, but I was like, it wasn't 20 minutes of like, oh, fucking come on, let's go. But like I don't know, Kina I think looks incredible. It looks incredible. I want to know what this is a game like. I hope to God it's really good. I don't know what the price point's going to be on this. I hope it's not $70. Well, I guess it's like this is the studio's first game. They're actually like they would help make like movies and like shorts and stuff like that. Like that's why the game looks as great as it does. Like like a Pixar style kind of art style. But I definitely want to hear more from people. Like as that game gets closer to coming out on August 24th, like that's something I want to like. I want to hear reviews and people's thoughts on it before I check it out. That's the way I feel with a lot of these other games. But yeah, I'm a huge. I've raved about this game so many fucking times over the years. Hyper Light Drifter, so fucking good. I love that game. It's basically a Link to the Past, but in 2016 terms. And this, someone said like, okay, we just made a 2D Zelda game. Let's make a 3D Zelda game, and that's what this game is. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, but not like a Zelda, not full blown Zelda, but like, we're gonna add like, its own like
elements of
modern
it.
day elements with the dash and the gliding and stuff like that. But like we look at Link to, like Hyper Light Drifter, that's basically what that was, where it's like it's Link to the Past but in modern day terms. And like there's people are saying this is like, oh okay, I heard someone say this is like 3D Zelda but in modern day terms kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, like like 3D like old school Zelda like before Breath of the Wild. So I don't know. I think it looks really good. I love the. I'm a huge fanboy though. Even though I've only ever made one game, Heart Machine. I love the music. I love the style. I'm definitely day one buy. The thing was like they said a few months ago in a video. It's just going out in June, and I was kind of like, that's my biggest complaint with any of this was like there were so many games that we heard about last year at these PS5 events that like yeah it's coming out next year, and it's like all right cool. That was the thing I was expecting more than anything. Okay, I knew they were gonna talk about Solar Ash. I knew they were gonna talk about Kina. I knew they were gonna talk more about um, Oddworld and stuff like that. But I thought we'd get more dates, and then we didn't. We didn't get like Kino got a date, and then Final Fantasy 7 PS5 and Intrograde got a date June 10th. But I don't know. I didn't love it. I wasn't like a big. I'm cool. I'm excited to play more Final Fantasy 7 remake. Like I've been kind of jonesing to play that game again. And like I'm gonna talk about last week, I've been playing God of War again now that the PS5 updates come out. Um, and maybe that's what I'll do in June when the PS5 version comes out, because it's a free upgrade for people, and it's gonna actually be the PS Plus game for March. Final Fantasy 7 is, so that's pretty
Yes.
cool. But you don't get the free upgrade to PS5, so you only get it's only the PS4 version. But still, that's a brilliant fucking game. Just play it on there. But I don't know. I mean, Gilles, what was your thoughts on the state of play?
All right, let me cover over the things that I liked about the state of play. For one, I did like the fact that for Solar Ash and for Kenna, they both can be playable on the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea, but at the same time, I understand that there are some PlayStation 5 owners that initially that bought into the system are kind of tired of seeing like a lot of these games and stuff just basically playable on both the PS4 and PS5, like their own different versions and stuff. Because there's this stigma, with some
Yeah,
PS5 owners and stuff, where it's like they bought the system to play PS5 games, and here they are playing a bunch of the games like that are playable on PS4,
I think
right?
that's so stupid though. It's so stupid to me. It's like, guys, we've been in this long enough. Like really the last four generations, like this is we don't have that hard cut, like we used to have in the 90s. Like the 2000s have been that where it's like, like you look at PS2 to PS3, like there was fucking games come out. Fucking God of War 2 came out a year after the fucking PS3 came out on PS2.
Very true.
It didn't come to PS3. It came years later in a HD
And it
remake.
was the PlayStation 2's magnum opus. That's
Yeah,
very true.
yeah. So it's like I don't know. I hate that. Like I mean, what I my thing is as long as there is a PS5 version, I'm okay with it. Like yeah, it would be
Right,
great
I
to have
understand.
a thing to like justify my purchase, but it's like something as like a early adopter of a console. Like that's just to be expected. That's what you get. It's like
Right.
I talked about going into this new generation PS5, Xbox Series, whatever, or it wasn't until 2016 where we actually started to see that cutoff, where like games like Doom and Uncharted 4 and stuff like that, where like I mean I remember fall 2015, like Metal Gear Solid 5 and shit, like those were like the big games of that year, and they were on everything. They were on 360, PS3, and it's just I see that same thing. People bitching and complaining, and it's like yeah, it would be great to have that, but I understand, but it's like as a fan of things, I want more people to play the things that I like, and it's like if that's what's gonna like if say God of War 2, I mean okay like God of War 2 comes out and it's like it's the greatest game of all time. I want more people to be able to play that fucking game to like say, hey, you know what, you're right, it's the greatest, because I want more people. It's as a fan, I hate that whole idea of like, ooh, I only want people that have this to play it. I just hate the whole. It's like the whole. It's kind of like the same thing with like people like Dark Souls. Like when people talk like put an easy mode in there. It's like, oh, don't just get good. It's like fuck you. You know what? Like why should you hoard all the goodness of these goddamn games? I want to like them too. Let me fucking play them, but they're not so goddamn hard. Rant over. Go ahead, Gables. I'm sorry.
Okay, so other aspects of this state of play that I did like the reveal for the trailer for the additional expansion here for Final Fantasy VII with Yuffie and stuff. I liked the aspect where it's going to be getting more into her character. From what initially was shown in that trailer, it leads me to suspect that this could possibly have been ongoing, like between certain events of Final Fantasy VII Remake. There are some characters that are introduced inside of this expansion and stuff, which are akin to like previous Final Fantasy VII games inside that whole timeline, which kind of makes me suspect that this whole Final Fantasy VII thing in and of itself, from remake to this expansion, potential further expansions from this until the eventual like sequel to Final Fantasy VII remake, it's just basically going to be the entire fucking Final Fantasy VII universe,
Mm.
quintessentially. So it's going to be like games like, say, Crisis Core, or maybe even Dirge of Cerberus,
In
or
the
this or that,
movies.
which, well, yeah, Advent Children, yes. I'm honestly 100% okay with that, as well as, a lot of other things, if they go with that route. So they could just remake certain aspects and just delete a lot of the shit that bogged down a lot of those aspects.
Yeah.
I liked that, but what I didn't like, they limited that DLC to just PS5 only.
Yeah, that's weird.
And so it's like, for me, I have a PS4. I understand the new system's out there. I can't fucking get the system because of the fucking scalpers. And especially since Walmart doesn't want to play ball with like Sony, Sony does not want to play ball with offering these systems inside of mainstream retailers. So I'm left in June. I haven't yet touched my Final Fantasy VII remake. I could
Mm-hmm.
insert it into my thing, get the free copy for PS5. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy. But if I want to play the DLC, I cannot play it because I gotta go forth and get a scarce system in order to try to play the content that I want to play. So I figured that was a bunch of bullshit, in my opinion. But from the good parts about it to the not so good parts, I'm with you. I'm tired of seeing the trailers for Deathloop and especially for Oddworld. And I honestly could not care less about that dodgeball game.
Yeah.
I saw it for the Switch at first. I
Yeah.
thought it was all right. After seeing that and going through the whole state of play stuff, I thought that it dragged things out and made it seem much more boring. And quite honestly, this whole entire state of play and stuff, yeah, I understand this is the type of things they're going to go through in direct, and they said not a lot of big things happen. But I argue that process because here you have the reveal of the next DLC or the next iteration thing that's going to continue on for Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I argue that is a big thing to unveil. And especially, like, what was it, last year or the year before that, the reveal of Final Fantasy III Remake? I mean, the only reason why that wasn't as big is because that was leaked beforehand. This potentially really wasn't.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean,
yeah,
I think it's more on the scale like they're not going to announce their big first party stuff. Like they're going to save that for like that E3 time frame kind of stuff.
right. Yeah.
That like that's the thing. Like and even like when Resident Evil 3, I think yeah, definitely it wasn't like as big when it came out because the leak didn't. But I mean, there was the leak of the Resident Evil 2 that people have known about that remake for years, and when that was
Yeah.
revealed by Sony's press conference 2018, 2018, like that was fucking huge when that was shown off. So I mean, there's still buzz around it. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I just I don't know. I think I just maybe it was just more so like me being more in that Sony ecosystem as far as like I pay more attention to that than probably most people do. Um, just because the last generation and currently this generation were like I've definitely turned flipped to more of like not a Sony fanboy, but I the first party games to me are I would argue in the last decade are better than anybody's. Um, so like for me personally, and I think for I mean, even for a lot of people, but yeah, like as someone that pays more attention to it than probably most, like I think I was able to set my standards like accordingly. Where it's like directs, like they show. I mean, not they Nintendo like everything gets shown at directs for Nintendo. Like everything, like they so it's like, and then they tell you like, oh, we're only gonna talk about this time frame, but they constantly lie to us about everything. Like they like we're only gonna talk about the first half of the year, and then they showed off like three 2022 games, and then like a couple second half 2021 games where it's like, and I'm not complaining about because I love it when they do that. When it's awesome, we don't complain about it, but it's like when they don't show like the goodness, we complain about it kind of thing. It's like
Yeah.
it's a give and take
Absolutely.
where it's like there's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows which I mean I think I'd rather have the state of plays be like the direct, where it's like you just go bonkers with expectations, and then every what say one of every three hits those expectations, then like this is just what everyone is. We're like, all right, it's gonna be middle ground stuff. I'm not gonna get super duper crazy unless it's something that really hits me personally, kind of stuff. Like I would rather it be like a direct, but I know it's not gonna. We're never gonna get as of at least right now. We're not there yet. But go on. I'm sorry.
Honestly, like the main thing I got out of this whole state of play stuff is like, yeah, we got a bunch of dates, we got a bunch of like little things. We also got the reveal of like the expansion thing for Final Fantasy VII remake. But overall, I kind of felt like that this was definitely an average kind of like reveal thing or like state of play stuff. I can't help but just give it like a 6 out of 10
Yeah,
because
that's
there
fair.
was a bunch of things we already knew about, a bunch of games we've already known, a bunch of trailers we have seen. Only difference is like we have release dates to certain games, and if it was not for the surprise for that Final Fantasy VII remake, I would have felt that this was definitely a downer.
Okay. Yeah, I mean I wasn't. I was like a 7 kind of range of
Yeah,
it, whereas like I gave the direct last week a 6, but that's just because I was bored through like half of it
right.
because it was just port, and then there's a few cool things that came out of it, but it was just you had to trudge through a lot of shit to get to that cool stuff. And this
Mm-hmm.
one is just like at most you had to wait 3 minutes, and yeah, some of that shit was kind of like like I said, like I think Deathloop is gonna be a really good game. I think Oddworld's gonna be a pretty good game. Like, I don't think they're gonna be bad games. There's like we've seen too much of them at this point, and it's like the other stuff. Like even if it didn't connect to you, it's like you didn't. It's new stuff at least. This is all new stuff that we were seeing, except besides Crash Bandicoot 4 and the Final Fantasy 7 PS5, but we got DLC with it. So it was like this is all stuff that's actually like we've never played before coming. Like that's the big difference for me. It was half an hour instead of 50, but yeah, I don't know. It was fine. Like I'm definitely like a 7. Kind of moving on. Here's some other PlayStation news. I think this is pretty cool. I don't think there's really not too much of a conversation here, but so Sony last year they did this cool like stay at home initiative where like I think it was like last April or May they gave us the Uncharted collection for free and Journey
Yep.
for free,
Yep.
um, which was really awesome. Last April 15th through May 5th is when we got those. Um, so this time around we're getting starting I guess actually tomorrow when this about time this goes up, this should already be out there. We're all getting the Ratchet and Clank 2016 remake that we got. Um, that's coming. Everybody on PS4 and PS5 will get that for free if you don't already own it digitally, which I don't believe. I think I owned it physically. I don't think I actually owned it digitally. Um, so unless it was a state of play or a PlayStation Plus game, I'm not sure though. But regardless, if you got rid of, you don't have PlayStation Plus anymore, and it was one, you don't own that game if you don't continue your account. So then you just have it. So they announced that, and then they announced some. Let me see if I can find what it was called. There was like that weird like there's like an anime thing they're doing. PlayStation Stay at Home. Sorry, I thought I grabbed the wrong article. April 20. No, okay, here it is. Blog post. For some reason I typed in Stay at Home Initiative and it gave me last year's article, not the one from 4 days ago. Um, yeah, so March 1st, yeah, for the entire month of March, you can get Ratchet and Clank for free, the PS4 version, and then on March 25th, you get Funimation, which I didn't. Is that the one that Sony just bought?
Yeah, Sony bought Funimation not too long ago.
Yeah.
Well,
So
actually, I think they've actually had Funimation
what's the other
for a
one? What's the other
while,
anime? The
but
big
they bought Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. All right. Yeah. So, anyways, we're getting Funimation um, we get a free. I'm just gonna read it here. Are kicking a very special offer: extended access for new subscribers to Funimation or Yakunim in countries they are available. Funimation's anime-focused subscription service. Um, while there will be additional details to follow, this offer is only available to our community who signed up for and download the Funimation apps starting March 25th for a limited time. And there's some other stuff in there. So I don't really know much about it, but and
I could
here,
say a little bit about Funimation
okay,
app
go ahead.
though, not just Funimation app, but like the Funimation like thing in general. I have seen a couple of different things. The app is notorious for in terms of stuttering and also in terms of when you're watching certain content live. like from like the source, say like from Japan or whatsoever, there are some shows that will not have the clearest of live stream things. There are issues in regards to account stuff, especially if you're going to try a free trial thing and actually put your credit information. People have had trouble deleting their accounts. They've had trouble with reimbursing in terms of refund stuff. So with this Funimation stuff, it's free, but buyer beware. This is something you have to be aware of before you make the conscious decision for it. Because honestly, you know what? Anime app like that, that's fine. But let's not forget that there are other alternatives too that you could go into if you choose to. Like, for example, if you want to go to other types of programs, say if you have Netflix and Hulu and you're happy with the anime stuff there, that's fine. But actually, Tubi, that's an app that I have seen. If you want to watch some older stuff, either that or maybe even like Retro Crush that has some of the older anime stuff from the 80s, some of this from like the 90s in that regards. But just to put it out there, Funimation is trying to put out something for free on March 25th, and that's like basically for what, for like a month?
90 days.
Was it 90 days? Okay, so you basically have like a 3 month period in that regards. So yeah, honestly, if you're that interested, give it a try. If you don't like it, do whatever you can
Yeah.
and stuff to not put any credit information with that
Yeah.
stuff.
So here it says on top of the 14-day standard free day trial you get, you'll get an additional 90 days. So that's, I mean, I don't know, that's not bad. I mean, most
No.
free trials are a month at best or a week. Um, so yeah, that's kind of cool actually. So you're talking about 104 days right there of free trial. So I mean, whatever. I mean that's what all of them are like though. Where it's like I mean, I just had I got the WWE Network to just watch the Royal Rumble, and I went to
Oh
go
yeah.
cancel it because I was gonna get charged on March 1st. Yeah, I was like, it went through like 7 screens to like, are you sure you want to cancel? Why are you canceling? And then at the end, when you click the reason why you're canceling, and it says at the bottom here, continue subscription or cancel. But they change the
Oh my
location of
god.
the cancel and the continue subscription every time. So one of the times I actually like, I hit where the last page it was the cancel subscription button was, now the continue subscription button's there. So I clicked that one, just, scrolling through whatever, and then I had to go all the way back to the whole process over again. So that's just that they do that on purpose, just make it so like
Yes,
you'll
they
just,
do to make it harder for you to go through and
yeah.
deactivate your account.
So that's just what they do. They're actually going to be doing this. The Play at Home initiative is going to be going on from March, extending through June. So I'm assuming every month they're going to have some news, whether it's going to be another game on top. I don't think it's going to be like we're not going to get the Last of Us Part 2 kind of stuff, but like newer things or currently big things. But like I can see like back catalog stuff like that. That's already, it's been out for a while that we're just getting through. And what's still kind of cool though, like last year we got Uncharted 4 or Uncharted Collection and Journey, 4 fantastic games for free. So I mean, yeah, they're older, but that's still pretty cool. Um, yeah, so a cool thing they're doing. I mean, it literally costs. It's not a PS Plus thing. It's just a thing. If you have a PlayStation 4 or 5, you're involved in this. Speaking with PlayStation, I'm going to continue on here. They announced that they are continuing and developing a new VR headset. Uh, they said it's not coming 2021. There's no current title for it. It's going to be different. They're going to have controllers that are kind of designed around more of the dual sense. So we're not going to have the wands, the PlayStation moves like we had with the current PSVR. This, like I said, it's not coming next year or coming this year. No, they didn't give us a date or a time frame, and they said that there is going to be one cord that will still need to
Huh.
be used. So it's way better than the fucking like 37 you needed on this one. Like, um, I'm actually kind of stunned by this. Where I was kind of wondering where like like I like VR, but it's just like it's such a pain in the ass to do. To like set up. I remember like when my ex would have her nieces and nephews over, they always like they'd like, oh, I want to play the VR. I'm like, oh, fucking goddamn it! I had to go fucking get out the closet. There's literally 7 or 8 different cords, multiple boxes. It's a whole.
Oh.
And you gotta plug them in. And like I can't figure out what the fuck which one I missed or why I plugged this in the wrong or whatever. And it's like by the time you get done fucking hooking it up, it's like they're all bored and they've all moved on to something else. It's like I don't even want to play. I'm like, God damn it! So and also it's just like yeah, it's pain. Like I don't want to keep it. I don't want to keep it out because it's there's so many cords and so much bullshit and it's so ugly looking having out. It's just like you gotta put it away every time you're done playing it. And the games are expensive and some of the games are very hit and miss. I've talked about many times before where
Yeah.
like you kind of take a gamble on some of these games you play them and like they're not really well made. Um, and I've gotten sick playing multiple where like literally puked on a couple occasions, or like
Ooh,
was like one of those ones where like it just late. Like I got uh, like how was that? What's the YouTube made a song about it? Vertigo. I don't know why YouTube popped my head there, but yeah. So it's like I'm kind of surprised, but I've heard people like I've heard with like the Steam one, the not Quest,
Oculus.
no, not Oculus, that's Facebook. Um,
Um,
I can't remember what it's called. But anyways, like I've heard good things about that with like the Half-Life Alex. People saying like there's the Oculus Quest, the new one that's um no cords. It's all hand. There's no. It's not hooked up to anything. You're playing it. I heard good things about that. But the downside of like being cord free, which would be awesome to be cord free with this new one. But the downside is like you're not hooked up directly to like you're not getting the power of that console or the power of your PC. So you don't have the fidelity. You don't have the power. You don't have all those. You're not gonna have all the things, the benefits of that. You basically just it's whatever's built in that headset is what you have. So like that's the benefit of like at least having one cord. I hope that the cord's long enough. It's not crazy and maybe it's better. We don't need as much room. It's definitely one thing where like the amount of money I put into the VR headset, the PSVR headset, compared to like amount of like good times I've had out of it for myself, I don't think was really worth it. Like I mean, I got it. I waited a couple years. I got like a bundle deal for like $250. But it's like the games are not cheap, and they're a lot of them just feel like tech demos. Like there's that Batman game. There's that Until Dawn like carnival game. Like the Last Guardian tech demo was cool, but it's like 10 minutes. Um, like the Far Point, which is another PS Plus game for next month. I actually bought the gun to play that game, and it's okay. So that's just kind of like
just
I don't know. It feels like playing that was very much like early like Wii days kind of thing with it. Just a very expensive uh, early Wii days kind of thing. But like I don't know. I'm on board. I'm happy that we're delving more into it and maybe it gets better. We'll get better games. Like just see. I don't know. I don't know what more else we can do with uh, the VR world than kind of what Half-Life Alex and stuff like that has done. And even that didn't set the world on fire. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to expect from this, but I'm happy it's continuing. I don't know like what this could be. Well, what's your thoughts on this, Gables?
my thoughts are they better improve the motion sickness aspect of it
That's more of a
because
game to game issue though, and more than anything I've noticed. I mean, there's definitely cases where like having a more powerful headset will definitely help with that. But yeah, like
right.
that was like I bought my dad an Oculus a couple years ago for Christmas, and I told him like because he really wanted one. I told him like be careful because there's a lot of free games on because this one it uses Steam. I'm like careful. There's a lot of cheap. There's a lot of $2-3 free games on there that you can play, but I'm like some of those are just so poorly made that it will wreck your day. And like I told him like play the tech demos on there, be look at reviews, see what people are saying. Yeah, but I agree. Like hopefully we can just fix that issue. And maybe being on PlayStation. I don't. I shouldn't say that. I see some of the shitty games that come on the PlayStation. Like it's
Oh yeah.
just in general. It's all of them. Switch, all of them. Like hopefully they can do a better job of like putting like quality games, not just anything and everything that comes on these things. But go on. I'm sorry.
Well, like I was saying, definitely some good potential. Glad they're continuing it, but at the same time, it has to be something that's like really revolutionary to actually make me feel interested in it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. Um, like I said, I just don't know what. I said a couple years ago. I feel like the VR thing was more of a fad for video games, and I still kind of
Yeah.
feel that way. It's just like we just haven't given up hope yet on it. And I'm happy they're not. And I wouldn't be. It's like everybody thought motion, like Wii was like that was the future of gaming, and obviously that was not the future. We got the
No.
Connect, we got the Move, that was a fad, which we learned at the after a few years, like this is just a fad kind of thing, and it took Xbox a little bit longer to learn with Xbox One. Connect is just you stop, but yeah. So I don't know. I'm not upset about it. I'm not whatever. I think it's actually. I mean, there's not really a bit upset about it, I guess, but it's just like I just don't know what else more we can do with VR. I mean, maybe they can. I don't know. These are the same people that put out the PSP and then put out the Vita, and then both like quickly just kind of came and went. On from like
Right.
on their end, where it's like after a few years, it's like, all right, this isn't doing well. So it's like, and hopefully it gets better support. You know, it's like even though I know we got Iron Man VR last year, where it's like the games that were coming out to it that were like had some like push behind it, and like okay, PlayStation's putting some effort into these. Like they were very few and far between. It felt like for a very long time they were just over it, but then we got Iron Man VR, and I heard good things about it, but I heard uh, it was very people were saying like it's a good game, but it's like you could tell like it was pushing the limits of the VR. Um, so yeah, of that VR headset. So and that's the PSVR was not top of the line. It's like it's a console VR thing where it's like consoles if you're not top of the line anything, but we play them for ease, and that's what I think. PSVR 2, whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna be. But that I'll save this other news topic for next week. We can jump into
Okay.
it more because we do have to do a whole nother uh topic thing shows after this show. So we'll just save that stuff for next week. Um, but just games we've been playing. I'll just do it real fast. I haven't played much. I haven't had a chance to play any games during the week. But today I did sit down and played like 4 hours of God of War. I'm just like I said, I'm replaying that again. It's so fucking good. I just decided with this one though, because like I tried playing a few months ago, and I kind of fell off it because it was like I was playing the game as if I was playing for the first time again, where I was like, I'm doing everything, I'm doing jumping up. Oh, I'm gonna go open this chest over here, and I'm just getting more hack silver, which is like the money in this game, and it's like I have an ungodly amount of money where like I never need to worry about like money ever again, which is like the case for most games where it's like by the end of the game, like you don't have to worry about money. That's kind of thing. Because I'm
Right.
doing New Game Plus, so I'm taking all my gear and everything over into this one. Um, this is like I already have like level 7, like level 8 is like the top level for gear in this
Oh.
game, and like I already had like level 7 shit when I was playing the game when I beat the game the last time, and I already so it's like now I've got like level 8 and I'm maxing out the those things like I'm adding because they have tiers to each like gear has tiers to them, so like I'm just adding tiers onto these like maxed out gear, and so it's like I'm just that's what I'm doing. Um, so like I just decided like okay when I jump back into it last weekend I'm like all right I'm just gonna just streamline the game because that's kind of what I was wanting to do for it again was like replay the game do the cool moments again. Maybe I'll jump into like there's definitely like some top end like side quests like you can always still just tiers of side quests. There's ones that like Brock and Sindri which are the merchants in the game. They're really awesome characters but they give you a couple missions to do. Um, and I only did. I think there's two of them you do, and I only did one of them last time. So this time I'm gonna do both of them. But it's like there's actually one thing where it's like there's like the 9 different realms of Norse mythology.
Hmm.
So like this one plays is in Midgard. Most of it plays in Midgard, and then like you I think you can visit 4 in the game. And this one of the 9, I'm assuming there's even the other ones for uh, yeah, the future games. But like Asgard's like the main one. That's where like Thor and Odin all them live. But 2 of them are like optional. Like one of them like Muselheim, which is I actually did like it's basically like combat trials. Like you're just doing like a bunch of combat scenarios, like kill 100 enemies without dying, or defeat 20 enemies without taking damage, or survive for 5 minutes, stuff like that. You just there's like 12 stages to it, but at the end there's like the really hard part of this game is the 9 Valkyrie sisters. I always think of them like I always call them the Harpy Ladies by accident. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh term, but I like that's kind of what they look like. They look like Harpy Ladies, but they're like the Valkyries, and like they fly and they have like they're fucking crazy hard. Like they don't have to they're like optional bosses basically. There's 9 of them, and I beat like 4 of them in my first try, and my first playthrough, and there was just one where you needed like you have to beat this person, you have to beat this one in Muselheim to get and they're at the end of the last trial, and I could never beat her. Like I would get close, but she would kick my fucking ass. It was like I'd get her down to like 10% health, and I just every time I'd die. I could never beat her, and so I went through today, and I fucking went through the trials. 'Cause trials, I mean, whatever, they're fine. They're not, especially now, they're not super hard. Uh, and I went in, like I said, I like my gears only got, and I beat it. Like I went back, or when I played her initially, I was probably like 60% through the campaign, and I'd done most of the side, a lot of the side stuff, but not all of it. But my gear wasn't really as high level, like nowhere near where I am now. And I went in first try, fucking destroyed her. I'm like, this woman has been living in my mind rent free for 3 fucking years. Where like I like it when it like literally whenever I think about God of War, I think of her, I think of this Valkyrie, and I'm like I couldn't beat her. I went in first fucking try, whooped her fucking ass. Wasn't even close. It was pathetic. Um, so yeah, I beat her and like you get like because you get like when you defeat her, you get a thing that like fully maxes out your weapon. But what sucks is I didn't realize this is you can't actually turn this gear in until you beat the game. So I'm like, God damn it. So it's like, so anyways, so I did that. I was really happy about that. But I've been just playing through more of the game. And it was my game of the year 2018. It was my game of the decade for last decade. Uh, Spoiler, it's gonna be very high on my list for my game of the generation list. So just keep that in mind. But I mean, if you've listened to this podcast longer, you probably already knew that. You probably already know a decent chunk of our games. But yeah, um, that's all I've been playing. I played like 3 or 4 hours straight today. So yeah, I plan on just hopefully trying to beat that throughout. I might. I don't know if I'll be able to beat it because I think I'm only halfway through the game at this point, the main campaign. But that's it for me, Gables. What have you been playing, buddy?
I have been playing Fire Pro Wrestling World. I am still knee deep in it. I decided to finish up a lot of the matches inside of the league that I had created. So I am still playing as Kazuchika Okada. I decided just to create this entire league from scratch. It's a little bit iteration from last week. I created this entire league from scratch, right? And I got like all the other wrestlers that were available. Basically, the randomized fill everything out. Little did I know, by doing that, I decided to do a little bit of a calculation to see how many matches I would be, and it's like, okay, I did about 64 matches with this one character, and I cannot skip any of the other matches in regards to every other character. Like, I have to watch these
Oh
matches.
boy.
And 64 by 64, which roughly would be over 1,000 matches, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I am probably going to keep on going with this thing up until I get the whole achievement things for like 500 and like 1,000 appearances and stuff like
You're
that.
going for that
But
platinum?
I potentially could, but that's depending upon how difficult the mission mode is. Because the mission mode in this game, there are certain criteria which I don't understand to get like an S rank for. Like the highest that I've gotten is S rank for a couple different missions. There is a couple of achievements. One for completing fish like 50 missions. The other one for complete like just earning S rank in all of these missions. And there's like two so far out of the 12 that I have played that I've gotten A rank instead of S. So definitely finding a guide to see how that's going to work is going to be something. But my main crux has been inside of the fighting road in terms of the junior heavyweight division. So that's more of an element from the story mode stuff that I did from last week, to where the whole introductory period of like that mode in of itself. I created a character. I'm inside of this like introductory thing for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it's like you basically have these two mentors, which is like Jushin Thunder Liger and Kushida, both well established light heavyweights. Well, actually no, established like junior like wrestlers and stuff in New Japan Pro Wrestling. You go through the whole process of training, learning stuff from them, and then that whole entire chapter arc, which honestly, I'll just say this right now, this game would be a lot more palatable, and this first person mode would be a lot more palatable if not every single match you have to spend about 15 or 20 minutes in order to beat fucking just finishing up a match. I mean, I kid you not. That's one of the drawbacks in this entire game, where I've played match after match after match. In this regards, I have played probably well over 100 matches in this and that. And the one consensus is, from what I'm getting, is you cannot really beat wrestlers in like 5 minutes or less. It's usually going to be over 8 or over 10 minutes or whatsoever. There's only been like maybe once or twice where I beat them just over 5 minutes, and that's because I went through and made them submit multiple different times. Like I made them submit through like specific like submission holds. But gameplay's still fine. The whole customization, where you can design a character, the way you can actually edit moves, and definitely when you're able to edit like specific entrances and that, you can even make your own custom belts and stuff, which that's a welcome addition. You know, it's like you can create your own specific type of wrestling federation or wrestling like territory. You can make your own championships, your own characters, your own types of like I think storyline things as well. But in regards to this first person, in regards to this whole like fighting road stuff, it makes it feel a lot more long-winded in regards to how long you're going to spend inside of this particular mode, because there's basically three modes, right? Where it's like you have the heavyweight division, you have the junior division, and then it's like you have a continuation, I think, for like a champion type of thing. So what I'm guessing is at the end of both the heavyweight and the junior heavyweight, it's like the end goal is getting those championships. I mean, that's obvious in my honest opinion. But the way it's structured right now, it's like I have just about finished the third arc of this junior heavyweight stuff. I am almost 50 chapters in, and I'm like at 14%.
Oh
And I'm
my
thinking to
god,
myself, what the actual fuck? How long is this? And
that's
you
too
know,
much.
I've actually like thought about it in my mind like a few different times this past week where it's like, I love this game. I love playing it. I love the amount of content and stuff. But the game drags on, especially for the matches stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, the game is very fucking fun. There are a lot of elements that you can play and you can experiment with in this game, but every fucking match feels like it's supposed to be this long, epic, drawn out thing to where it's literally exhausting me in some aspects.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, I got hooked on it. I would wake up, take the dog out to do his business, go through, play a little bit of game or something like that before work. I'm looking at this thing right now where it's like, I'll stay on this junior heavyweight stuff. I want to see where this goes, but I got the feeling that I am not going to be keeping on this game for much too longer because I've already spent a lot of time playing this game, and I can kid you not, it feels like I am past the 30-hour mark. It definitely is a long 30-hour mark.
Gables, I can go look it up right now on my PS5, see how long you've been playing for if you want me to do that.
Go ahead,
All
man. I
right, I'll
feel
be right
like you
back.
should.
I'm gonna do it.
Well, audience listening at home, Tyler's checking his PS5, seeing how much time I've actually spent in this game. For those watching right now, hello everyone. I'm your resident wrestling Mark, Sir Colonel Gables.
All right, I'm booting up the PS5 right now. Got the handy dandy DualShock.
Yep,
Let's
doing
see.
this whole live reaction stuff.
Yeah, you can't see it from the camera. You can't see if you're obviously if you're audio listener. You
I
can't see
am
it.
curious because the
All right.
PS4 does not keep track of time
Yeah,
unless the game file says so.
that's the one cool and sad thing when I see my playtime for some of these fucking games, especially when I look at Madden. All right, I'm still not used to this fucking. I hate the goddamn fucking stupid ass goddamn main menu. Uh, I, I, I still like try to scroll through the PS5 like main hub as if it's fucking PS4. 5 months later, all right, Gabe, bag now. If you don't want a bag, just say no. It says total play time 30 hours.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
I was right.
yeah. If you want to know, Destiny 2 254 hours, Dragon Ball Fighters 98 hours, Rocket League 282 hours.
What?
See here.
I did not know I spent that much time playing that game. Holy shit!
I'm still scrolling. Let's see if Handsome Collection 42 hours. Legacy of the Duels 103 hours. Gales, I looked up my time. That was like a 90 something hour, 80 something hours, something like that. That's fucking crazy. I did not realize that. I mean, it's crazy how much time you play these games and don't realize it.
Oh my god.
Pitterpot 15 hours.
Yeah, I spent 15 hours and I completed that game.
You got the platinum right there. Look, 36 out of 36.
And I was still saying, man, it's like that was probably one of the worst experiences playing that during the last generation. But in order to
Destiny
beat the
1
game, I had to
218
complete
hours.
it. Wow.
Ghost
Wow.
Recon Wildlands 105 hours.
Not surprised right there. So obviously, listeners and watchers, when I play a game and I enjoy a game, I spend a long time playing that fucking game.
Yeah,
But I'm very surprised that I guessed how many hours that I spent playing Fire Pro Wrestling World. Now, granted, the game is fun. The game can be good, but it's way too fucking long per match.
Goat Simulator,
This
33
is,
hours.
dude, this is like, this game in of itself feels like a mobile experience to where you could play like maybe a couple of matches and you'll get a good solid, like, you'll get your fill. But if you try to play for long chunks like I have been doing, which is basically like maybe an hour or two, it feels like a long 2 hours sometimes. But then again, it's partially my fault because I had spent a lot of my times watching matches unfold because of the whole league stuff.
Yeah.
I went through, I kid you not, 64 matches because that's how many characters are available with my one character that I've been playing as, Kazuchika Okada. Won every single one of them. The difficulty actually varies per what wrestler or some that you play against, but yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be doing with this game after this week.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been playing.
Oh, well, very cool, Gables. I was scrolling through, I was looking at some of your times here. It's very interesting. The one that hurts more than anything, it says Final Fantasy VII Remake less than 1 hour. That one personally hurt my feelings.
That was the demo.
You fucking son of a bitch. You played the demo? I didn't even play the demo. I bought the game sight unseen the day after it came out.
That was the demo.
You hurt my that one. That's a low blow there, Gables. You played the demo and then didn't play the game. That's nuts. That's nuts.
Oh my god, dude! I have so many games that I can delve my time into. It's ridiculous.
You should play Final Fantasy VII.
I know.
June 10th. Start it up. I'll start it up with you. I'll play PS5 and then you play for the first time. I'll play it again on PS5. I just can't. I just hope they get rid of all the bullshit. Like, we're gonna lift this rock up. It's secret. Like, there's the million times as a secret loading screen. So or here's this door that looks like it's from PS2. So yeah. But anyways, Gables, this is gonna be the end of this show, but we got a lot to do after this show. We are.
I know.
For people watching this live currently on Twitch, or if you're watching the video version, I guess it's more for people watching this live. We're gonna stop the stream as soon as this episode's done, but we'll be back in a few minutes, and we're gonna start a game of the generation thing. We're going over our top 25 games of last generation. So if people don't know, we did a game of the decade where we covered 2010 to 2019. This is only going through, and we have rules. We did a game of generation podcast very early on. I think it was like in the episode like the 20s, which you can go back and look. I put them on our feed a few years back. If you want to hear, I think we just did a top 10. But this time we're doing a top 25. But the rules were last time that only DS, Wii, 360, and PS3 games were allowed. And it had to come out before launch day of the, I think the PS4 came out first. So whatever that day was, it couldn't come out before after that. So we're doing the same thing this time around, where it came out November, I think 11th, or no, November 8th. Of last year is the cutoff of a game coming out. So there's games that came out on PS4 but also are Xbox One, but they also come out cross console. So those games are eligible for next generation, but not this generation. But also Switch games not allowed. If it's a Nintendo game that came out before March 2nd, 2017, then it is allowed. It's a Wii U game, it's allowed. 3DS games allowed. But Breath of the Wild not allowed on this list. It's cut off the list. So that's kind of the way, because Nintendo does their own thing, and they're always they come out the new console comes out in the middle of that generation. So who knows what's gonna happen with this one with Nintendo? But God knows, who knows? But that's where we're doing it. So yeah, so this is our game of the generation for 3DS, for Wii U, not counting Breath of the Wild, PS4, and Xbox One games. So that's what's going on with us. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this show. For those of you guys watching on Twitch, don't go away. You're going to have to just refresh in about 5 minutes, and we'll be back doing our top 25 games of the generation. Oh, also, for audio listeners, if you listen to the show right now, the way I'm going to be doing it for audio listeners is I'm going to break it up to how I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but I'm going to break it up over the course of probably 2-3 episodes, I'm assuming. God, it just depends on how long it takes us to do the Game of Generation list. And those episodes will be coming out probably Wednesday night, Thursday morning. For you guys, I'm going to break it up over the course of the month of March. Um, but for if you're watching us live on Twitch, you'll get the full top 25 list right now. And same thing with YouTube. If you just want to watch the whole list, you want to know about, you don't want to wait for the whole month, you can just check it out. It's going to be all one shot. But if you're an audio listener, which is totally fine, most 99.8% of you are audio listeners. Um, you guys can just wait, and you want to listen to it throughout the month. Totally cool with us, and it'll be there for you. So thank you guys so much for listening. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. Until next time, everyone, have yourself a fun week. Definitely play some fun games. But most importantly, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
And hey, Gables.
Yep.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.